How to ask the universe for a sign, and actually get one. Look, most people are dead wrong about spirituality. They think begging the cosmos for favors changes reality, when in fact, demanding a sign pushes it further away. The counterintuitive truth is that when an individual stops desperately seeking answers, they instantly trigger a spiritual portal that floods their life with exact directions. If a person is tired of feeling stuck in spiritual isolation, doubting every decision while everyone else seems to have it figured out, they are about to discover a remarkably simple method to get immediate clarity. By learning to properly communicate with the universe, one will unlock a quick reward. An undeniable sign within 24 hours that will prove they are not alone. Fasten your seatbelt, because we are about to decode the energetic portal that bridges your current confusion to your ultimate spiritual awakening, starting right now. Topic 1. Understanding the language of the universe. The individual seeking a sign often expects a booming voice from the clouds, but the universe actually whispers through subtle shifts in energy. It's absolutely crucial to understand that everything around us is a grand manifestation of consciousness, communicating in a language of symbols and feelings. Think of it like trying to tune an old radio. If the seeker is stuck on the frequency of spiritual isolation, all they get is static. Oh, how many people miss the boat because they lack spiritual vision, expecting a flashing neon billboard instead of a gentle nudge. To truly elevate your soul, one must first recognize that the mystical dialogue has already begun, waiting patiently for the receiver to simply tune in. Consider the concept of energetic hypersensitivity, which isn't a curse, but rather a profoundly powerful antenna for spiritual growth. When an individual begins their spiritual awakening, they suddenly notice repeating numbers on the clock, a random song lyric that answers a silent question, or a perfectly timed phone call. These aren't mere coincidences, folks. They're the literal breadcrumbs of self-knowledge dropped by your higher self. For a deep dive into this, grab a copy of Gabrielle Bernstein's book, The Universe Has Your Back, which masterfully explains how to transform fear into faith and step back to let the universe lead the way. Suddenly, the world transforms into a responsive, energetic portal, echoing back the very thoughts and intentions one holds in their heart. Naturally, mastering this subtle language requires a bit of an inner tune-up. A person doesn't learn a foreign tongue overnight, so give yourself grace as you cultivate this profound mysticism. One starts to notice the 7 symptoms of awakening popping up, feeling out of sync with old habits, craving deeper connections, and sensing a profound calling. Boom, that's when the magic really starts happening, shifting the seeker from mere survival to genuine spiritual development. But before one can fluently speak to the cosmos and ask for specific directions, they must first learn how to silence the chaotic noise echoing in their own mind, which leads us to a crucial preparatory step. Topic 2. Clearing the mental clutter. The human mind is undeniably like a crowded highway during rush hour, packed with worries, doubts, and endless chatter. Before anyone can effectively ask for a sign, they must hit the brakes and create a pocket of inner peace. You see, attempting to hear the subtle guidance of the universe over the roaring noise of daily anxiety is essentially a fool's errand. The individual must take a moment to intentionally meditate, grounding their chaotic energy into the present moment. By just breathing deeply and observing those racing thoughts without judgment, one gently opens up a massive spiritual portal for clarity to enter. Let's be real. If you're spinning your wheels trying to figure everything out logically, you're missing the forest for the trees. When a person practices deep self-knowledge, they realize that healing begins the second they stop forcing answers. A practical example to implement right now is simply sitting outside for 5 minutes, leaving the smartphone inside, and listening entirely to the wind. In that remarkably silent space, the true self finally gets a chance to breathe, expanding into a wider state of consciousness. It is within this serene calmness that one's personal development truly accelerates, moving past overthinking and straight into intuitive knowing. Therefore, clearing the mental slate isn't about emptying the brain completely, but rather dialing down the volume of the ego. The seeker must learn the CHANNE L method, starting with calming the noise to clearly hear their higher power. Wow, it's incredibly refreshing to just sit back and let the frantic need for control completely melt away. As one continues to cultivate this inner stillness, they naturally elevate their soul and prepare the ground for real transformation. With the mind finally quiet and the static cleared from the line, the individual is perfectly positioned to pick up the phone and actually dial the cosmos. Topic 3. Formulating the right question. You wouldn't walk into a restaurant and just yell, "Give me food." So why approach the universe with that same vague energy? To get a crystal clear answer, a person absolutely must ask a crystal clear question, preferably one that yields a simple yes or no. If the request is wishy-washy, the resulting sign will undoubtedly be just as confusing, leaving the seeker in a prolonged state of spiritual isolation. For instance, instead of sighing and asking, "What should I do with my life?" one must pinpoint a specific decision they are currently weighing. Crafting a precise question is an essential step in personal growth, as it forces the individual to get incredibly honest about what they actually want. Let's look at a practical real-world scenario to make this undeniably concrete. The seeker might say, "Dear universe, if taking this new job is aligned with my highest good, please send me a clear sign within the next 24 hours. By establishing a specific time frame, they create an energetic boundary that makes the sign impossible to miss or write off as a fluke. It's like setting a divine deadline. You're not demanding. You're just organizing the flow of reality into a recognizable pattern. This level of clarity acts as an energetic portal, laser focusing the cosmos on delivering exactly what is needed for the person's spiritual development. Of course, the ego might try to sneak in and complicate the wording, but one must keep it incredibly simple. Embrace the beauty of a straightforward request, acknowledging that the truest mysticism is often delightfully uncomplicated. The individual steps into their power when they realize that asking for help is a sign of spiritual awakening, not a symptom of weakness. Bam! The question is out there in the ether, vibrating with pure intention and awaiting a perfectly timed response. Yet, simply tossing the question into the void isn't enough. One must next decide exactly what form that cosmic response should take. Topic 4. Picking your unique sign. Now comes the exceptionally fun part, choosing the specific symbol that will serve as your undeniable answer. It is highly recommended to select something that is a bit out of the ordinary, but not entirely impossible to spot in your daily reality. For instance, asking to see a purple elephant while living in the suburbs might be pushing the envelope a bit too far. Conversely, choosing a generic red car is a rookie mistake, as the seeker will see them everywhere and constantly second-guess their spiritual vision. The sweet spot is a symbol that resonates with your true self, like a blue butterfly, a specific number sequence, or a yellow feather. The sign a person chooses should ideally feel like a playful inside joke between them and the universe. Perhaps it's a ladybug, a coin from a specific year, or even hearing an old song from their childhood completely out of the blue. When someone uses their energetic hypersensitivity to pick a sign, they infuse that object with profound meaning and intention. I highly suggest reading The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho to truly grasp how the world is covered in omens just waiting to be read. By assigning a specific meaning to an object, the individual essentially creates a personalized dictionary for their spiritual growth journey. Interestingly enough, the first thing that pops into your mind when you think of a sign is usually the right one. Trust that initial gut feeling, as it's the higher self communicating long before the logical brain has time to interfere. Once the symbol is chosen, say it aloud with confidence, effectively locking it into your expanding consciousness. Huzzah! You have just laid down the cosmic terms and established a clear channel for enlightenment to flow through. However, holding on to that request with a white-knuckle grip will actually block it from arriving, which introduces the hardest step of all. Topic 5. The art of letting go, releasing expectations. Here is where the vast majority of people completely drop the ball on their spiritual journey. After asking for the sign, the individual absolutely must release their desperate grip on the outcome and simply surrender. When someone obsesses over finding their sign, frantically scanning every corner, they are operating from a place of lack, not a place of healing. This desperate energy effectively slams the spiritual portal shut, because you cannot receive a gift if your fists are tightly clenched. True personal development requires an individual to trust that the universe has heard the request and will deliver it at the perfect time. Think of it like placing an order at your favorite online store. You don't refresh the tracking page every 3 seconds. You simply click purchase, go about your day, and trust that the package will eventually show up on your doorstep. A practical exercise here is to literally say the words, "I step back and let the universe lead the way," effectively turning over your desire with a prayer. By stepping into this state of surrender, one experiences a massive wave of inner peace, knowing they are fully supported by the unseen. This act of letting go is a powerful testament to one's spiritual awakening, proving that faith has finally overridden fear. Alas, the human ego hates giving up control, so this requires consistent practice and profound self-knowledge. Whenever doubt creeps in, gently remind yourself that your only job is to ask, while the how and when belong entirely to the cosmos. Detaching from the outcome is the ultimate hack to elevate your soul and accelerate your ongoing transformation. Phew, it takes courage to let go, but the freedom it brings is undeniably intoxicating and deeply liberating. With the expectation completely released and the mind at ease, the individual is now perfectly primed to start noticing the subtle winks from reality. Topic 6. Recognizing the synchronicities. When the sign finally arrives, it rarely happens in the way the logical mind expected it to unfold. The universe possesses an incredible sense of humor and loves to deliver answers through beautifully woven synchronicities. You might be seeking a dolphin as your sign, and suddenly you notice a barista wearing a dolphin pin on their apron. It's absolutely crucial to keep your spiritual vision wide open, as these moments often require you to read between the lines. These serendipitous encounters are clear indicators of a profound spiritual development, demonstrating that the individual is deeply connected to the energetic web. Let's be perfectly clear. When you see your sign, you will feel an unmistakable physical shift in your energy. It's that sudden, undeniable gut feeling that screams, "Spot on," confirming that your higher self is undeniably driving the bus. Someone might literally bump into a stranger holding a book with their exact sign on the cover. A classic hallmark of mysticism in action. If you want to train your brain to spot these moments better, start keeping a daily journal of small coincidences to build your awareness muscle. Acknowledging these little miracles creates a powerful feedback loop, telling the cosmos that you are paying attention and ready for more consciousness. Sometimes the sign is delivered through a dream, a billboard, or a passing conversation that you accidentally overhear. Wow. Isn't it wildly exciting to realize that the entire world is constantly whispering secrets to those who simply listen? The individual must trust their energetic hypersensitivity during this phase, avoiding the temptation to pass the sign off as a mere fluke. Embracing the magic of synchronicity completely cures the painful feeling of spiritual isolation, proving that we are all deeply interconnected. But what happens when the requested timeline passes and the chosen symbol is absolutely nowhere to be found? Topic 7. Trusting the answer, even when it's no. This is the bitter pill that every seeker must eventually swallow on their path of spiritual awakening. If you set a 24-hour deadline and the sign doesn't show up, you must accept that silence is in fact an undeniable answer. It means the answer to your question is a firm no, or at the very least, not right now. A person's true self knows that rejection is simply cosmic protection, steering them away from a path that doesn't serve their ultimate calling. Understanding this concept is a massive leap in personal growth, as it shifts the individual from acting like a spoiled child to becoming an enlightened co-creator. Imagine desperately wanting to board a specific train, only to miss it by mere seconds because you stopped to tie your shoe. You might curse your bad luck, completely unaware that the exact train you missed ended up breaking down for hours. The universe always sees the bigger picture, coordinating a grand reality that our limited human perspective simply cannot grasp. If you ask whether you should date a specific person and you get crickets, trust that inner peace is saving you from a world of future heartache. This profound trust in the unseen is what truly catalyzes deep healing, replacing crippling anxiety with an unshakable, quiet confidence. Seriously, leaning into a no requires a tremendous amount of maturity and robust self-knowledge. It's tempting to demand a recount, repeatedly asking for a new sign until you finally get the answer your ego originally wanted. Yikes. Doing that completely defeats the purpose and abruptly closes down the energetic portal you worked so hard to open. The individual must accept the silence gracefully, knowing that their true path will eventually reveal itself in due time. Armed with this profound trust in the cosmic flow, the seeker is finally ready to take bold action and completely change their life trajectory. Topic 8. Stepping into your new reality. Once the sign is received, or the silence is accepted, the time for passive contemplation is officially over. Now is the exact moment the individual must gather their courage and step confidently into their brand new reality. Receiving guidance is absolutely pointless if a person refuses to act on the wisdom gifted by their higher self. Think about it like receiving a map to a hidden treasure. The map won't dig the hole for you, so grab a shovel and get to work. This action phase is the ultimate test of spiritual growth, proving to the cosmos that you are genuinely ready for the next level. If the universe gave you the green light to start that new business, it's time to actually register the LLC and make the website. A practical step here is to break your big goal down into tiny, manageable daily tasks so you don't get overwhelmed by the transformation. Check out the book Atomic Habits by James Clear to master the art of taking small steps that lead to massive enlightenment. As the person takes inspired action, they merge their earthly efforts with divine timing, creating a truly unstoppable force of energy. Suddenly, the 7 symptoms of awakening evolve from confusing feelings into a powerful, driving momentum that propels them forward. Wow, looking back at where you started, the journey from confusion to profound clarity is nothing short of miraculous. The individual has completely mastered the art of co-creation, proving that they are no longer a victim of circumstance, but an empowered architect. Keep this mystical dialogue open, continuously asking, listening, and acting as you elevate your soul higher and higher. You are undeniably living the dream now, seamlessly dancing with the cosmos and fully embodying your divine calling. This is the true essence of mysticism in action, where everyday life becomes a living, breathing testament to the magic of the unseen. Now that you possess the exact blueprint to decode the cosmos, it is entirely up to you to apply this profound knowledge today. Are you going to stay paralyzed by indecision? Or will you finally step up and demand the clarity you rightfully deserve? What specific question are you going to ask the universe tonight, and are you genuinely brave enough to handle the answer? Take that bold leap, start reading the signs, and watch how quickly your entire world transforms into a masterpiece of synchronicities. If this message resonated with your soul, make sure to subscribe to the channel and enable notifications right now so we can continue elevating your life together.